Well, it seems like owning a car is now going to be more expensive. COE prices in the latest round of bidding ended higher across the board. Let's take a look. Small cars prices rose by nearly $1,250, and for big cars it was more than $7,250. Goods vehicles up around $300, and motorcycles also up by some $250. And for the open category it was nearly $6,900 higher. Well, to talk more about the COE system, we have with us transport researcher Paul Barter, who is also adjunct professor from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. Now, Paul, in recent rounds of bidding, we've seen that COE premiums have been heading upwards. Do you think this is likely to continue?
It's anybody's guess, of course. I wouldn't be surprised, but predicting the future is a fool's game, so I'm not going to predict.
All right, okay. Well, we know there's been lots of unhappiness on the ground. We've heard about it in the media. The COE system has been seen to worsen the rich-poor divide. How do you think the new categorization criteria that's going to kick in will lead to a more equitable system?
Let's take that rich-poor divide issue and the equity question first. It's certainly true that it's understandable that people are feeling that it's somehow unfair. And one way to think about that is, are cars a luxury? Should we treat cars like other luxury goods? None of us are surprised when a luxury good is expensive, and many governments will tax luxury goods highly, and most people will see that as a fair thing, in fact, because it's one way to tax the rich more, and then that tax money can go to good things for everybody. Traditionally in Singapore since the 1970s, we treated cars as a luxury good and we taxed them very highly. People generally accepted that it was a minority would have a car, and that generated a lot of revenue which could be used in good ways. In the mid-2000s though, things changed a little bit and prices were low. Many people jumped in to buy a car and car ownership grew. In a way, attitudes probably changed and people were no longer thinking of cars as a luxury. In fact, you often hear people now saying, my car is a necessity. Yes. It's probably not true, but we can understand some people thinking that way. And now we see with COE prices going up again, cars are back to being a luxury, but it's difficult to go back to that mindset. But in a place like Singapore, we probably do have to accept that we should treat cars as a luxury rather than as something that will be a general commodity item for everybody.
All right, so do you think there would be other ways to tackle traffic congestion besides the COE system?
So restraining car use and restraining car ownership are two big parts of it, and of course there's all of the alternatives. Improving the alternatives, we'll get to them later, I think. But on the side of the coin of restraining cars, you have a big dilemma. Should we restrain ownership? Should we restrain use? Price them, for example. And it is a dilemma because most economists will tell you the efficient thing is to price use. It's targeted well. Those who are causing the problem will pay the price. Those who don't cause the problem don't pay, and that seems fair. But politically it doesn't seem to work like that, and psychologically it doesn't work like that. Once you have a car and you've paid quite a lot for it, you feel as though you've earned the right to use that car a lot, and you feel punished and you feel angry that you hit COE, you pay for parking, and it seems like, it's all unfair. I paid so much, why am I now being hit again? It seems that over the years Singapore found it easier politically to keep car ownership lower and then also charge for usage, but not sky-high usage prices. If we were to let car ownership get out of hand, ERP prices would shoot through the roof. And of course, there's lots of unhappiness about that too.
Right, so it looks like you've got to pay one way or another.
It's a dilemma.
Okay.